Hello everyone, this is Dion Soul. How you guys doing? I hope everyone is doing well. Well, today we are going to be I wanted to do low and slow flights, and I kind of in that low and slow mindset right now. And so I decided to get the Mooney Innovation. The Mooney Innovation, this particular model is by Coronado for X-Plane 11. And I am running X-Plane 11 2.0. It came out of beta, and now as of this recording, X-Plane 11 2.0 is now final. And of course, now I'm sure we're going to have betas for the next incarnation of X-Plane. But for now, we're running at 2.0 or 11.20. Sorry, and so we are in the Mooney, and this Mooney's by Coronado, like I said before. And what attracted me to the airplane, because I wanted low and slow, I liked it because of the tail. That's really what people find, which is sounds kind of weird, but yeah, the design, the unique design of the vertical stabilizer is really an attraction for the Mooney airplanes, and the way the windows are. It's just the way the design of the airplane has always been cool. I always kind of liked it. I always thought it was a cool airplane, and also I wanted to fly an airplane that is as close to what I could possibly afford if I was going to if I had the money to actually go, to learn to fly and that sort of thing, which I don't, and I'll probably never will, and I've had those conversations in the past in other videos. But to make a long story short, yeah, it's just so I thought I would get an airplane that would be close to maybe what I could do. And the Coronado product is all right. I mean, it's nothing special, nothing really to make a big deal about here. The airplane's all right. Typical Coronado, everything. It's good. I mean, when you zoom in on certain areas, and you see, the paint scheme is kind of uneven here with the door railing and the way it's matches up. It doesn't match up correctly. That kind of thing. This is not. Coronado does not offer a G1000 version, the Laminar 1000. I wish they did, but unfortunately they don't. So all we have is the Garmin 530 inside this airplane. Now, I know there is another developer out there who has created this airplane as well that has the Garmin 1000 in it, and I was looking at a fellow YouTuber's video, and John Fly's video, and that's something he did way back during Super Bowl time and playoff times for here in the States, which is back in January, February-ish, I guess it was. And his airplane looked good too, but not as far as physical looks. His airplane, the other developer, wasn't as detailed as Coronado is. But I didn't know it existed until after I bought this one, so I'm kind of stuck. I'm going to stick with what I got because I do like the Garmin 1000. As far as the simplicity in setting things up, but hey, it is what it is. This airplane does offer the ability to have the GTN 750, but unfortunately the GTN 750 has old data and is not connected with Navigraph to keep the data current, which is most disappointing because when me as an end user, when I'm paying a subscription for Navigraph that works with most everything else, and then have with the Garmin's, the GTN 750 not working with Garmin is disappointed, or not working with Navigraph is disappointing, but it is what it is. That's the decisions that they made, so not much can be done about that. So I don't have the GTN 750 installed in this airplane. I go with the 530 because the 530 it works just fine, and also the interaction between the not having the 750, creating a flight plan, and with other equipment that I have that's outside the sim, XHSI's remote, redundant gauges that I have on another network computer, that works just fine, and so that's why we have the 530 installed and working, because it works just fine. So anyway, so where we're going to fly today in the Mooney is we're going to go. Let me jump over here to the other monitor. Here's the overview. I wanted to go down the Eastern Sierra. I want to make a scenic flight because I do have my orthos. and I was going to go right down the belly of the beast with all this restricted airspace, and skirt along China Lake, restricted airspace and whatnot. And I'm just going to fly on and just go right on down. Because we're low and slow, we're only going to go about 7,500 feet. And keep it slow, and then we'll just take it right on down, right on into Lancaster, and fly right over Mojave, and come on in and land on expected to runway on runway 24 in Lancaster, because that's normally the winds are up. And I haven't checked the weather lately, but I'm sure 24 is probably going to be ours. When I did a Sky Vector version, Sky Vector immediately had me go right across these 14,000 feet, 15,000 foot mountaintops to get over here to Fresno, and then go down the valley over here. That's probably in the real world that's a right way to do things. I don't know. For me personally, I wanted to go down this valley here, because very rare that you're able, Sky Vector ever has you go down the valley. It always has you go the other way to stay completely away from all the restricted and the MOAs that this whole area is. So, that's why I chose what I chose. So anyway, so that's our flight, and that's the way we're going there. So, which is really cool. And then, like I say again, this is a Flight Jobs flight. And Flight Jobs, just to touch on it real quick, is another economy module developed by Rudolph, and I can't pronounce Rudolph's last name. And Rudolph, when you see this video, I apologize for not being able to pronounce your last name. That's why I wasn't going to try. But at any rate, we're going to make the flight going from Bishop, California, back to KWJF, Lancaster, with an alternate of Mojave, 158 nautical miles. The payout's going to be kind of weak because we're in a small airplane and we are not flying very far. That is one of the Achilles heels of Flight Jobs right now, where he has to change the algorithm up a little bit to be able to get more revenue for shorter flights. It's kind of weak on long flights. The revenue is not bad, but unfortunately, me as a fellow YouTuber, I like to keep my flights under an hour and a half tops, because I know I'm going to bore the audience. I get bored sometimes, so I totally understand completely. So that's why I try to keep my flights as slow as possible, or low in time as possible, because usually you only have a retention of about 8 minutes of a flight, or 4 to 8 minutes in a video. Then after that, your audience is gone, and so which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I wish it was longer, but I can't help it. Can't change it. And the inherent nature of flying is, it's a long process, especially when you're doing it in real time like I do. So anyway. So that's where we're going on. We're already activated with Flight Jobs on the website. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and configure Flight Jobs right now with the weight that we're going to carry, which, so I just zero everything out here, and the weight we're going to carry, we have to do everything in metric instead of US, because basically all the economy modules that are out there, whether they be FS Economy, SimBuddy, Flight Jobs, xpflyer.net, it doesn't matter. They all go in kilograms, and that's just the way it is. So us Americans are kind of kicked to the side of the road and left for dead, but that's just the way things are. So we just learn to adapt, and that's one thing about us Americans. We learn to adapt, and we go forward. That's what makes us so damn great. So anyway, our payload is 508 kilograms, so we'll go ahead and put in 508 kilograms, and you can see right off the bat we are over on our weight big time with that alone. So we're going to see if we can get off the ground anyway, and this flight is going to take us probably, I want to give us at least 2 hours of fuel, so we're really going to be over. and we're just going to go ahead and go for it and see if we can get off the ground with the oversized load and the oversized fuel weight. I wish Laminar would have an actual gallons. I could type in. You have this switch over here for, you know, for weight. I wish they had actually gallons in here, so I know how many gallons that I have inside this airplane, because that's important because of fuel calculation as far as cost. You have to convert everything from kilograms to gallons or pounds to gallons, and I know air density makes a difference in your calculations on the air temperature and humidity and everything else, and it gets really convoluted. But you know, it is what it is. I wish they'd have the gallons in here so I know how many gallons. I can say, okay, I want to put in 40 gallons and we're ready to go. You know, that kind of thing. But at any rate, so we're going to put 2 hours of fuel. So instead we put 2 hours of fuel in and we'll call it good. We are overweight, so we'll see if we can actually get off the ground with being such overweight, because I know we're going to burn the fuel, and by the time we land, we'll still be overweight, but we won't be overweight by much, so we should be okay. If not, we're going to go for it anyway. That's the advantage of being in a simulation. If we go for it and if we're successful, then all's good. So anyway, we'll apply the changes right there, and now that we've got that set, now we can go in here into flight jobs, and flight jobs will be ready for us. I don't really want to start flight jobs until I'm actually configured with everything else, so then that way flight jobs doesn't have a lot of wasted time for the site prep and everything. So actually, let's go ahead and just close this out real quick, and we'll go ahead and bring up our checklist. That's why I say it's going to take a little while here, because we have a checklist. So I'll bring that up. And here is our cute little checklist made by this gentleman right here, Peroni. So Peroni, kudos to you for making this checklist for the Mooney Innovation by Caronato. So we'll go ahead and flip on that and hit check item and hit next. And hopefully this thing will take off for us.
Locks,
there we
shocks
go.
and tie-ons.
It had to load.
Removed.
Okay, so locks.
Alternate static air. Off. Gear selector. Down. All lights off. Off. All rocker switches off. Off. Ice protection off. Off. Ignition switch. Off. Master switch.
Off. And he wants it on. Okay, master switch on. So I've got two ways to do this. Either I can just go ahead and let's go ahead and push the button, or I can turn on with my switch. Fuel quantity. They want me to look at my fuel quantity here, and I got two options to look at fuel quantity here. I can look at here. We got 14 gallons on each tank right here electronically, or you can go right over here and look, and you can see where the needle is, which you can't really tell, but it's kind of cool that there is a gauge actually on the wings themselves, which is kind of neat. So we got fuel gauges right there, which is kind of cool. First airplane I've owned that actually had the fuel gauges actually on the wing. Thought that was kind of neat. So okay, so we're good there, and I'm going to hit check.
Check. Oxygen supply control knob.
Off.
Off. Oxygen pressure gauge.
Just checked, and it's got nothing in it. I don't have the ability to be able to add oxygen to here, so I don't. So it says 0. I don't know if there's a way to be able to actually add oxygen. I could go in here real quick and look, but now I'm going down the rabbit hole. Let's go in here, oxygen. Oxy. So no, there's no, if I typed in oxygen, it should have brought up something. Let's go over here to operation. Developer, no. I don't think there's anything for oxygen. So no. Nothing for oxygen that I know of at this point. So anyway, so oxygen gauge is checked, sure.
Check. Battery select switch.
Choose the highest voltage. Right now we are at 22.8. I flipped the switch over here, and now we're at 24, and you just heard the pitch of the sound go up a little bit. So
Choose higher volts.
I did.
Standby vacuum.
Standby vacuum. Above 27 inches. Oh, that's what our altitude is. Okay, well, I don't know what our altitude is. Let me go over to R is 119. So I need to turn this on and this on. And I need to go to 119.02. And I gotta have to turn on the radios so I can hear.
Eastern Sierra RGNL weather.
02.
Wind 240 at 5, visibility more than 10. Sky clear, temperature 22, dew point -6.
Okay, so 1302. It's 1322. So they, because it said that standby vacuum was 27 above 27 inches, I have to turn it on. So we will turn that on. Now we're above that. And I'll hit next.
Above 27 in HG.
Yeah, got it.
Pitot heat.
Pitot heat's on.
On. Pitot annunciator light.
Annunciator light. Pitot annunciator light. Oh, okay, that would show that it was actually on, and I'm not seeing it. That's because
Eastern Sierra RGNL
we got to turn on the panel
Wind
lights.
240 at 5, visibility
The
more
standby
than
is
10.
on.
Sky clear.
So let's turn off avionics. Avionics are off, and you can also see that the. See, I'm learning this as I go along, guys. So, which is cool, you know. I like to learn this stuff. And so, annunciator light is on. It shows that it is on. So we move on.
On. Elevator trim switch.
On. We'll turn it on.
On. Rudder trim. Neutral.
Rudder trim is neutral.
Elevator trim. Neutral. Flaps.
I don't know where the elevator trim is. Elevator trim is right here. Neutral, that is correct. Rudder trim is neutral, that is correct. I guess you could move it over. Of course, I can turn it back to 0. And then flaps down. Okay.
Down. Master switch.
Where's elevator is down. Okay, elevator is down. Okay, master switch back off.
Off. Cabin door. Closed.
Cabin door's closed.
Baggage door. Closed. Parking brake.
Set.
Set. Fuel selector right tank.
Fuel selector right tank.
Set. Fuel selector left tank.
Just let me set it.
Set. Gear selector. Down.
Down.
Circuit breakers.
All look good.
In. Ignition switch. Off.
Off.
Alternate air off.
Okay, I gotta find
Off.
the alternate air. I don't know where
Defrost
the
off.
alter is.
Off. Cabin heat off. Off.
Yeah, well, that's
Cabin vent off.
something I don't control.
Off. Top vent off. Off.
I do control that.
Cabin floodlight off.
Yeah, it's off.
Off. Propeller full.
Propeller's full.
Full. Mixture idle cut off. Cut off.
Cut off.
Master switch.
Master switch on.
On. Alternator on.
On. Why you want it on now, but okay.
On. Annunciator test.
Okay, annunciator test. That's gonna have to go down a little bit. Right here. Annunciator test. Looks good. Okay. We're all looking good there.
Pressed. Rotating beacon on.
Rotating beacon on.
On.
Take a look outside real fast. You should see. Is it below? Yeah, it's below. We don't have anything above. So there it is. It's blinking.
Throttle open 1/4.
Throttle open 1/4. So
25%.
put it right there.
Mixture.
Mixture full.
Full. Boost pump.
Boost pump on. Fuel.
On. 5 seconds. Boost pumps off and locked.
Okay, that's about 5 seconds. Boost pumps off and locked. Yes, I just did it.
Off. Mixture idle.
Mixture idle.
Idle. Ignition switch.
Ignition switch to both.
Both. Starter.
Engage starter. Okay, so I guess everybody's ready to go. So we'll go ahead and start the engine.
Engage. Mixture rich.
Mixture set to rich.
Throttle 1000 RPM.
1000 RPM. Let's bring it on down.
Check. Oil pressure. Check. Mixture lean.
Mixture lane.
Lean. Flaps up.
Flaps up.
Up. Defrost. Cabin heat. Vents.
As desired, I think.
As desired. Radio master switch.
Radio master switch on.
Eastern Sierra RGNL weather. Wind 240 at 5. Visibility more than 10. Transponder standby.
Transponder set to standby. We are at standby.
Autopilot on and set.
Autopilot, I'll set it when I'm ready.
Set. Autopilot off. Off. Altimeter.
Altimeter, that's what I need to find. I was at 302, we already got that one, so we're alright.
Set. Heading bug set.
Heading bug, we gotta know what.
Eastern Sierra RGNL weather. Wind 240 at 5.
Wind 240 at 5. So now I need to look and see what runway we're gonna take off at. So we're gonna take out runway 26. So we need to set our heading to 260. Make sure we are at 260. We are. Alright.
Set. Chronometer set.
Okay, chronometer. I don't know how to use the chronometer, so I have not been trained on how to use a chronometer. As I know it's time, you know, you just time and that sort of thing, so we'll say it's all okay. Obtain clearance.
Set. Obtain clearance.
You obtain clearance.
Parking brake release.
Okay, and then taxi lights on. So, navigation lights on, taxi lights on. I don't think we need that on just yet. So,
Release. Taxi lights. On. NAV lights, if required.
it is.
Check. Glare shield and panel lights, if required.
Don't need it.
Check. Test brakes. Tested. Check steering.
All looks good to me. Let's take a look outside, see if everything is moving. Aileron rudders, everything is working. Set parking brake, and yeah, we're all good.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Everything is good.
Check. Parking brake set. Set. Fuel selector.
The fullest, which is both the same, so we'll leave
Fullest
that on.
tank. Mixture full rich.
When I go to take off.
Full rich. Throttle 2000 RPM.
Okay, so we'll do our throttle check. I guess we'll do it here.
Check. Magnetos. Check. Propeller. Cycle. Vacuum.
Good.
Between 4 and 5 in HG. Ammeter. Above 26 ampere. Annunciator panel. No warnings. Throttle 1000 RPM. Check. Oil temp above 75 F. Check.
Oh yeah, it's getting hot.
CHT 240 F minimum.
Yeah, it's head temperature is not that hot, so. We are getting warm on our oil. Now our oil's starting to go down. All right, so that's good.
Check.
Close enough.
Flight instruments. Set. Flight controls.
Free and clear. Already went
Free
through
and
that.
correct. Elevator trim set takeoff. Takeoff. Rudder trim set takeoff.
Okay, rudder trim. Rudder, they want me at. I think this is the. We gotta put it right out in there somewhere.
Takeoff. Flaps set takeoff.
Zoom back out here. Okay.
Set.
Ice protection.
Ice protection.
Required. Oh, they want the boost pump back on. Okay.
As required.
I think I'm supposed to be doing this
Boost
when I'm
pump.
at,
On.
when I'm doing my run up.
Taxi lights off. Off. Strobe lights on.
Yeah. So that's what it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to be already at. Okay, I didn't realize that. So we'll go ahead and activate flight jobs. Refresh. Flight jobs. Are you happy? You're happy. So we're good to go there. So we'll go ahead and get taxi on down, and then we'll finish the rest of the checklist once we get there. This is kind of cool, but I kind of like this one better. So let's go ahead and get our butts down there to 2.6. And I'll put those back up. I don't need those on right now while I'm taxiing. Taxi lights are on. Strobes are off. Okay, well, whoa. We got to go back down this way. Looking at the diagram of the... We actually got to cross 3.0, then to 2.6. Got to go this way. It's not giving me numbers, and we are going to cross runway 35, but there's nobody here, so we're okay. I also notice this airport does not have any taxi markings. So we got to pass runway 35, and then we got to pass 30, and then 26. And then we're going to fly right towards the mountain, which is what you're not supposed to do. Awesome. And another thing I need to do, I probably need to do it here because I noticed that there is no turnout at runway 26. So I'm going to stop here right now and go over here like this, go to our flight plan, and I'll go back to, let's see if the flight plan is available. It is, right there, the very first one. Okay, so my flight plan is available, and it will be GPS. Alright, so that takes care of that. I play that off as okay because nowadays what people do is they'll actually have their flight plan on their Pro Flight or ForeFlight or whatever they call it. I'm an Android guy. I'm a PC guy and Android guy. I want nothing to do with Macintoshes and Apple. I've never been an Apple fan at all. Just not my thing. But anyway, so they and I lost my train of thought. What I was going to say. Oh well, brain fart. Anyway, so like I said, we'll go through here and what I was going to say is that they have their Apple products already download the data into the Garmin, and so basically I'm doing the same thing by using Little Nav and downloading the flight, and then the Garmin picks it up that way. So that's how I'm playing it off as like, yeah, it's legit, because in modern aircraft today you do it now anyway. And in the real world, if I had the money to have an airplane and went through the flight training and everything else, I would do exactly the same thing. I would have the most modern that I could afford avionics in my airplane, because I want it to be less workload on me, the better. And if I have to pay a little money for it, and if I had the money, I would do it. I mean, it's a no-brainer, you know. So we'll get on down here, and we're working our way to runway 26. It's a clear day, 22 degrees Celsius. I don't know, was it 70 something Fahrenheit? I don't know. I'm not big on my Celsius and Fahrenheit conversions. Alrighty. See, we don't even have the line, the behind the flight line, or line thing. Alright, so we're here. Now we can go back with our checklist, and strobe lights on.
On. Landing lights.
Landing lights on. Taxi lights off, you said earlier. Transponder set to altitude. And there it is.
As required. Transponder altitude.
Set.
Altitude. Master warning off.
It is off.
Off. Parking brake release.
It is released.
Release. Throttle full open.
And then we'll take off. So there is nothing stopping us from taking off.
67 KIAS. Rotate. Gear selector up.
Stalling a little bit. Higher altitude. Make sure that we have positive climb here before I release that. Alright.
Climb speed 105 KIAS.
Well, to get that, achieve that, I gotta pull my nose down a little bit. Yeah, I had this set earlier.
Check. Trim.
I'll set it again. Yeah, too fast. Now we're gonna climb like a mad dog. Down here a little bit so it's not blowing my eardrums out. And we'll let the GPS do its thing. On our way, even though I don't have this on. It asked me to turn this on. But I don't think I need it anyway because it's the GPS. So we're burning some fuel right now. Rocking and rolling. Fly over Big Pine here in a minute. If we haven't already. There's we haven't got there yet. Big find right there. Switch tanks. Got 14 gallons in one and 11 in the other, so it'll be a good time to switch tanks. Burn off of that right side a little bit. It's going to ask me to adjust my course. I'm going to do that now. 2.5. Probably going to tell me I'm in airside airspace. 48. Right. Okay, I have reached altitude. At least the desired altitude I want to go. So, here we go. Now we are set. Take a look at my emails here while we're cruising. Get rid of all those. Thank you very much. All junk mail. And this is the reason why I want to go this way. I want to check out the what it looks like. Maybe kind of cool if we had the snow and stuff. Of course, it's the wrong time of the year for that. But you still have snow up there. So, we are on our way. Which gives me the opportunity to use the restroom, so I will be right back. Speed brakes deployed, which is kind of cool. First general aviation airplane that I own that has speed brakes, which I thought was kind of neat.
As required. Trim. Set. Fuel selector full S10. General WFJ Fox Airfield Information November 1700 Zulu weather. Wind 300 at 10. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 28, 2.4. Altimeter 2998. Arriving runway 24. Departing runway 24. Advise on initial contact. You have November. Parking brake release. Release. Propeller pull. Pull. Mixture pull bridge. Pull bridge. Flaps. Approach speed 90 to 100 KIAS. Check. Trim. Set. Boost pump. On. Landing lights. As required. Autopilot off.
Kind of missed it a little bit. Hopefully I can recover it. Guess I can always go around, I guess. There we go. I'm starting to see some bouncing around there. I hope I put the landing gear down. I'll float the airplane to get the landing gear locked.
Selector down. Down. Approach speed 80 KIAS.
That's noisy. That was a little rough landing. Didn't like my chirping of the tires.
Check. Trim. Set. Throttle idle. Idle. Taxi lights on. On. Strobe lights off. Off. Landing lights off. Off. Recognition lights off. Off. Speed brakes retract. Retract. Boost pump off. Off. Flaps up. Up. Transponder standby.
Ah, that's one thing I didn't do.
Standby. Parking brakes on.
Until I get shut down. Yeah, Bug Eater 64 did a great job in making Lancaster. From the reference photos that I gave him. I reached out to the community before he took on the job, asking if somebody wanted to do it, but it went to the org community and it fell on deaf ears. Nobody cared, so it is what it is, you know. But Bug Eater did it, and hey, it's not bad. Not bad at all. It's double lighting in certain areas, and some of that is my fault.
ADF off. Off. DME off. Off. Transponder off. Off. Elevator trim switch. Off. Radio master switch. Off. Throttle 1000 RPM.
Oh, you gotta leave that on to be able to see it.
1000 RPM. Mixture idle.
Let's see what mixture idle is. Back on the blue. Get back in the blue, get back in the blue. Oh, I'm about ready to kill it. Well, actually, right there is mixture cutoff is right there.
Engine shutdown. Shutdown. Ignition switch. Off. All lights off. Off. Ice protection off. Off. Master switch. Off. Alternator off. Off. Lock/chock/tie owns.
Tie downs. I have to turn those on. Go over here and get stack elements. Install.
Install.
And we are done. Not to, like I said, I got to work on that. Cool. We successfully made it here on the ground. Got here in one piece. Well, thank you guys very much. The only thing we need left to do now is go ahead and we'll actually do two things before we give it up here, and that is we need to refresh our thing that we are at Lancaster right now. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to hit finish the flight, and it says successful. So now we're done with flight jobs. And then next we want to do is just take a peek, if it'll do it, my landing. See how sucky my landing was. Actually, the landing wasn't bad. It was after. I got to work on what was done after. Okay, there we are. We're right about there. That's close enough. Then we'll just jump over here to tower. Go to tower. Tower's right there. Well, not really. Tower's over there, so I don't know why it's telling me to go there. So I'll have to go free camera. We'll go over here to the tower. Go up a little bit. Spin ourselves around. We can have a look at our aeroplane. That's close enough. Now our aeroplane is, where's it at? I gotta find it. There it is. There I am. Oh, I got some streaks in there. That's weird. Oh well, anyway. Now we'll do it in real time. I do have my lights on, but for some reason it's not showing them. Replay doesn't show the lights, I guess, or something. Or at least on this airplane. And then I realized, oh, I don't have my landing gear down. November 502 Delta Mike, you do not have your landing gear down. But I recovered at the last minute. Oh. Yeah, it figures. Gosh, terrible. Got to work on that after touchdown. I'm so worried about getting the best feet per minute on the ground, and then I foobar the. Look at me dancing around all over the place. Jeez. That's one thing I don't like about, free camera. You can't. If I go tower, that's not right. So let's see if I can find another view. I don't want to do chase plane. Still spot. Okay, still spot is where. Okay, well, it's right there. I can do that. Oh, you can see where I'm about ready to touch down. You can try that. Go. And I'll just zoom in. And there's good enough. Okay, now you see the lights right there. That's good. That's where I get squirrely. On a weather vane. It was 11 knots when I landed. It was at 3:03, 11 knots. Oh well. Burn those tires up. Whatever. I am not a perfect man. I do what I can, Oh well. Anyway, so now the most important part of this whole flight. So what we'll do here is we'll jump out of this. We'll come over here. Go like this, and I'll get rid of X-plane. I don't need X-plane anymore. And so $436 with flight jobs, and we'll go ahead and refresh this, which just should go away now, and it did because it was a successful flight. We'll go over here to my profile. Cost me $2,800, or sorry, $1,288, and we'll look at the ledger. So the ledger for this flight, the latest flight's the one right down here. So it was $2,800. Oh, I need to pay first. Okay, there. Now we pay. Now I can go back to ledger. And then, so we end up making $451. So he did. That's that cost me $1.30 a mile. And I did one that was it's $1.30 for the first one. $1.30 for this one, $1.32, $1.42, $1.62. So we're staying under cost of $2, but I'm also doing 130 nautical miles, 168. Yes, I am making a positive cash flow on every flight, which is good. But it's nowhere near this one where I'm in the 732. Flying 583 miles, carrying let's see, what am I carrying? I'm carrying total payload of 4,900 4,094 kilograms of cargo, making $15,000. But yeah, he's still got to tweak this a little bit, and just to make the lower, shorter distant runs a little bit more profitable. I mean, I'd like to see, like I say again, $6 per kilogram, or sorry, $5 per kilogram, and then $60 per passenger, and then after that, then kind of let the math do its magic and make a little bit more money. Of course, then again, right now there is like, okay, well then Dion, you get all this money. We're at $207,000 for the company. what are you going to do with it? It just sits there. It doesn't do anything. We don't have a way as a um, airline owner slash manager, which is what I am, um, to disperse the funds. I would like to have the ability, which we talked about. I talked to him in the past, and hopefully we can have some kind of progression where you have some kind of progression where you can spend the money and then you get more benefits. Maybe you spend the money and then you get a better upgrade in fuel pricing. So instead of the fuel pricing be in other words, you spend a little money to end up making more money. Some investment somewhere where you invest in a fuel company, instead of it being, $5.70 for your fuel price, it'll be, $4.38, and that's tier one. And tier two would be the next level. And then tier three, maybe have 3 tiers on fuel price reduction, and that sort of thing. Some kind of setup where you can actually start generating more cash flow. Have some kind of builder where you can build up and you can spend this money on upgrading your services up. It's just an idea, just an idea I just have, and I just thought of it on the fly there. Same thing with the actual individual pilot, progression, and because he's got our progression of how to make money. Now you got to have progression how to spend money and to be able to make more money, and progression on the individual pilot. Have that where you're getting your hours. This is actually pretty good. I kind of like this being this pilot graduate. I don't know. Anyway, my English is terrible, even though I speak English. I think this is good. Tie this within other achievements that you could acquire over time. Maybe even set it up where, okay, I am a junior officer. I mean, you can fly what I'm flying right now, the M20. That's all you're going to be able to fly, because this is what I'm thinking for career mode, a career mode scenario where as you go up this ladder, more airplanes are available to you. And I wouldn't say individual airplanes call out like the Mooney or the Cessna 172 call out the seating arrangement. When you get into commercial, then obviously that opens up into commercial airplanes such as the 732, the 737, 767, and so on. And then once you get to the commercial side of it, then the ATP and the commercial are kind of the same as far as that side, is that you'd be flying the same airplanes. It's different tasks. It's I believe would be commercial as opposed to cargo. I don't know how that works. I don't know how the because that's air transport. I don't know what the P stands for. A pilot, air transport pilot. Is that what I think that's what that stands for? And those are kind of go hand in hand. Because you are commercial flying. Even if you're working for UPS and all you're flying is cargo from one place to another. But I don't know. I could be wrong in that assessment. But anyway, like I said, have the airplanes as far as gated. Put the gates or the hurdles, blocks, whatever, as you go up how many hours, and then that way it's just an idea. And again, this is in a career mode scenario. So if you start a career mode, then you would have these gates, self-imposed gates, and you'd only be flying the airplanes that are assessed. Now you can obviously, because you're control of your own simulation, you can fly whatever the hell you want. But if you want to keep it real and keep it within the framework of that, then you would self-impose, only fly small airplanes until you get to a commercial first officer. Then you start getting into your into your 737s and 737s Airbuses and that sort of thing. I don't know. That would have to be worked out. I'm just like I said, I'm thinking of this on the fly, and I'm sure your guys' input in the comments down below would be more helpful. That way we can convey this to Rudolph and make this a more robust product. So anyway, guys, this is pretty much it. You guys take care, and you have yourselves a great one. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Greatly appreciate it. And like I said, we'll catch you on the next X-Plane Adventures video, and whatever I'll do, we'll wherever I go, we'll make it happen there, and go on to the next whatever the next adventure may be. So anyway, guys, you guys take care and you have yourselves a great one. This is Dion Soul. Later, guys. Bye.